One of the very frequent questions that I have been asked lately is that, Fritz, what mistakes did you make earlier on in your hypnotherapy career? Care to share them? And this is really, really awesome because this is a great question to ask, especially as a new hypnotherapist. And it is a new hypnotherapist, upcoming hypnotherapist who asked this question. And this is such a good thing to be able to share now with hindsight. So there are six, I might add a few here and there as I talk about it, but six very big mistakes that I made that you can learn from so that you can get to where you want to be faster. And the very, very first one is in keeping with the theme, which is make more mistakes. When I started, I was deathly afraid of making mistakes. The perfectionism was there, even though I was in denial and I was like, yeah, I've taken perfect action. Actually, I was lying to myself and was not open to making mistakes. Failing forward is a great thing in business. Making mistakes faster is how we level up faster, because if we don't make mistakes, it is very hard for our brains to conceptualize what actually needs to happen in order for it to do something better. Like, when you're learning a new skill, remember riding a bike, you've fallen off a few times, right? Taking that training wheel off, or the training wheels off, was quite scary. Driving for the first time, you needed to make the mistakes. You needed to either turn too sharp or way too wide in order for you to course correct. So there's so much value in mistakes. And if you're someone who is deathly afraid of mistakes, like I am, make sure you work on that. Make sure you work on that through hypnotherapy, or just through being more curious and saying, okay, so if I could make a mistake, what'll happen? And, if I do make a mistake, how am I going to deal with it? And just being very curious that way is really going to help you out. So I first wanted to start with that. And the second thing is learning about business foundations. So running a hypnotherapy business has so many things. We all want to just do the therapy, right? But unfortunately, that's not the case unless you work for somebody who's already established, who already has an established practice, and you work for them. You are the CEO, you are the marketer, you are the social media manager, you are the salesperson, you are the bookkeeping, unless or and until you are able to hire those out. But really learn the basic business foundation and get mentorship through this while you can. Caveat with the mentorship, and this was the mistake that I actually make, was not learning this, right? The mistake was that I didn't learn this first. I did hire a business coach, which I thought I needed at that time, but they only focused on the mindset when what I really needed was how to actually open up a business. And of course, I didn't know this at that time. It makes a lot of sense now. And I own up to the fact that I made the not really wrong investment, but an investment that I didn't really need at that time. But now you get to learn and discern who you're going to hire. So if you have no business experience, definitely hire a business coach that is not just a marketing coach. That's different. That will actually help you with the systems, the operations. If what you want to hire someone, the finances, or can lead you to the person who can help you with finances, like the systems, right? Day-to-day things. What are KPIs, right? What are the things? What are those things? Have someone to help you with that. The earlier you have that in your career, the better you will be in terms of sustainability and cash flow. Number two is the big mistake was thinking of the fastest way to get there, which is important, but at the same time, neglecting long-term thinking. You want to look at your hypnotherapy business as a long-term thing, especially if you're transitioning from a full-time 9-to-5 job. What you want to do is think long-term. Now, no regrets for the decisions I made, but definitely at the beginning, I under this impression, this false impression that it's just gonna, I'm gonna click and I'm gonna manifest it, and it's just going to be like that, because that was the world that I was surrounded with. I no longer surround myself in that world for that very reason. Long-term thinking goes a long way, and having a plan is a good thing. Some of those, there are going to be some people in the industry who are going to be like, if you have a plan B, then you're going to prevent your manifestations from happening because you don't want it bad enough. Don't listen to that bullshit. Okay. Do not listen to that bullshit. If you want to set yourself up for success, it is okay to have a plan B. It is okay to have an exit strategy. And I didn't. I didn't earlier in my career. So that was a big mistake. And long-term thinking always, if it takes you 1 to 2 years to have a firm business before you start your job, that is better than you doing something that, maybe quitting your job, which is not a bad thing, but like quitting your job too early that you can't sustain yourself in the long term, and it'll create too much stress. It's not worth it. It's better to think long term and surprise yourself with the amount of income that you'll make, and then transition. So have that plan. Number 3 mistake was investing too much. The key word here is too much on mindset, business mindset, because you will hear a lot of that. You will hear how important it is. And I'm not saying it's not important, but like with everything, business is a skill set, marketing is a skill set, sales is a skill set. And so if someone does not have any experience in those 3, like I did not have experience with those 3, it's not a mindset problem that I have when I didn't really make that much money. It's a skill set problem that I had. I just hadn't done the reps enough. Like if I were to want to be able to squat 100 kilos and I'm not there yet, and I'm taking slowly, I'm going from like 50 to 55 to staying in 55 to 60. It might fall very, very slow with me, but that's just because I haven't adapted to it. I haven't fully cultivated that skill set to be able to squat 100 kilos yet. And it's nothing wrong with my mindset. I just haven't done the reps for it enough. So it's the same for business. It takes reps, the right reps at the right time, and a lot of mistakes in order for you to learn how to be good at it. So it's the same really thing with a long-term thing. It is a skill set. Unfortunately, clients are just not going to come knocking on your door just because your thoughts told you to do so. That is unfortunately not how it works. When it starts working that way, I will let you know, but not today, not at this present moment in time. And the 4th mistake that I had was not focusing on sales and cash flow very, very early on. Because like I said, I learned different things. It was my mindset. And again, these things are good because we do come up with our own devils ourselves. There's nothing wrong with wanting to heal, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to prioritize your health in term. That's actually one of the mistakes. I did not prioritize my health as well. So that's like an extra one that I'm up there. Not prioritizing my health. Prioritize your health, because you don't want to burn out, and you don't want to be in business just to be in the hospital like weeks later, right? We don't want that. So back to the not focusing on sales and cash flow. So I was focusing on the wrong things and not really realizing that there was a process that I missed. And, I did hire mentors. I still have a mentor now, but really early on, I just didn't know any better. I could have definitely asked for more help, and that's definitely on me that I didn't. But at the same time, I just didn't have the experience or knowledge to know what was wrong, right? But again, that was one of the things that I didn't look at, which is the sales process and the cash flow process. So make sure that you learn about that sooner than later, because what is a business? It is a cash flow, right? There is no business unless there is a cash flow. And the next one, which is 5 or 6 now, I don't remember how many now. But the next thing that was a big mistake was that I closed myself off on other perspectives that were different from my own. And this is a good one because we all hear this. I want to connect with like-minded people. And of course, we are the sum of the 5 people, or the average of the 5 people we hang out with, whatever that quote is. So that is important, but at the same time, there is absolute value in following people who you don't necessarily agree with. Why? Because it stimulates your growth, and also it helps you to see other perspectives, and it helps you to not be complacent. Because if you just hang out in the same group, in the same methodology, in the same type of thinking, then you can get the group think in there is very, very strong, right? And sometimes we get so stuck in that typical type of group think that even though some of our values don't align to that, we just um affiliate with them. And so by having other different perspectives, other than your own, and where you're currently at, who you're hanging out with, is going to really help you expand your thinking as well. I got that from one of my coaches, and she actually encourages looking for people who are definitely different from you, which that was a mistake that I did, again, following into the new agey stuff of the toxic positivity realm, where you only want to hang out with people who you're completely with, but not really realizing that what you're attracted to at the time was actually not the healthiest. Yeah, I've been there. So that's why it's so different. It's so great to look at other different perspectives. And that was a saving grace for me as well, because my mentor now is someone who had very different perspectives than I did. And I actually did not like his perspectives initially. But now, where I'm at in life, it's definitely a perspective that I'm grateful for being open to. But I was so closed off with the net, in the first 1 to 2 years of my business, which is very, very unfortunate. But that is a mistake, right? Surround yourself with people who you disagree with. Obviously, choose wisely. You don't want a person that is 100% rude, but obviously someone who you can learn from, who expresses themselves well and not like a dick asshole, right? Because that is what's going to help you. So I hope these mistakes help. I will add some more if I do think about them, but please avoid these mistakes. You will definitely make a lot of mistakes. You will definitely fuck up many times in your business. That is the point of it. And as soon as you can really embody this feeling of mistakes are there for growth, it has nothing to do with me as a person, then the faster you are with succeeding in your hypnotherapy business. So I'll see you later, and let's make a massive impact together, one conversation at a time.